remember a character called MacGyver. When I say that you can MacGyver it, that term entered into some of the common lexicon probably in the late 80s, early 90s, and has gone and come back a few times. There's recently been a reboot of this TV show, but the whole purpose of me bringing up MacGyver is that, if for those of you guys that don't know, MacGyver was this sort of secret agent, and he'd always be stuck in these situations where it was like impossible to escape, and somehow he would solve these complex issues with these ingenious solutions. There was always sort of a creative way to make things work, and he would work with what he had. He was very resourceful, able to almost solve any problem, right? And I think one of the most inspiring thing about him or this character was that he would be able to do with almost any scenario. He would somehow find a way, and it was, a little bit dramatic of sorts. But I bring this up because your body is very much a MacGyver. It will do what it has to get things done. It will do what it has to. So just because it's doing something, just because you're doing something to your body, and because it's working, doesn't mean it's necessarily right. And I put that in quotations because we don't want to sit here and judge you right and wrong. The point is your body's adaptable. It will adapt to things. And that's why people are able to succeed on something like a low carb, a keto, a high carb, intermittent fasting, doing these really intense workouts, maybe doing just low intensity cardio all the time and being in a calorie deficit. Whatever, your body will find a way. And once you really understand your body, you're able to become creative and work with what you have, just like your body's able to work with what it has. So no matter what you throw at your body, it will find a way. It will find a way to do what it's supposed to. And the number one priority your body has is to survive. And sometimes that might mean it turns down the volume on some other priorities. A prime example is a lot of women, when they're in fat loss for an extended period of time, their body starts to reduce their sexual functions. Primarily your menses, your period, if you want to use the common term, it becomes down-regulated. Your body doesn't want to use it because it needs that energy to survive. And that probably signals that although your body is MacGyvering it, it's probably not the right approach for you, at the very least in the long term. I mean, I'd also want to consider that in the short term, for whatever reason you might be doing your plan, if it's worth it. But the point is that your body's very resourceful. It will do what it needs to continue to survive. And that's why it prefers to keep fat on your body. That's fuel for long term. And if you're not using your muscles, like for resistance training, it'll get rid of your muscles because it's not something that you need. It says, I don't need this because we're not using it. Keep this fat here for energy later because we might need it to do something, but we don't need this extra muscle here, so we could probably eat it for energy right now. So your body will find a way. It will MacGyver. It will work with what you give it. Even if you're juicing all the time, and that's not the best thing because you're slowly depleting your body of nutrients. Maybe you're picking a different type of nutrition, a carnivore, or all vegetarian, plant-based, whatever it might be. There's the opportunity, the potential for your body to have to MacGyver it to continue to succeed because it's not getting the resources that it needs, the nutrients, the vitamins. So you want to be cognizant of that. And although there's different ways that other people have succeeded and could survive, and you could succeed, it's important to find the one that's the best thing for you long term, and not really put yourself in situations where your body has to continually MacGyver it, because at some point the situation will catch up to you and you might not be able to. Bone loss is a prime example of that. So without further ado, your body will MacGyver it, and just because it's able to adapt and to succeed and do what it has to doesn't mean what you're doing is the right thing. And I'm not, again, here to judge, but it's important to consider sometimes your body will do what it has to, but sometimes you have to put it in a situation where it's better suited to succeed.